Hello, I'm Sam the Folf, and we're gonna bake some Christmas cookies! Today, we're gonna make several kinds of cookies. We're gonna be making sugar cookies, chocolate chips, snickerdoodles, peanut butter cookies, press cookies, and a special treat. We're gonna be making a big, huge, really yummy coffee cake. It's a special secret family recipe that I'm going to share with all of you tonight. What a wonderful way to stay warm this chilly evening. Here, it's very snowy, and so we all will warm ourselves next to the oven as we bake these wonderful, tasty cookies. We're going to start out by taking 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, and we're going to put them in this bowl right here. That's half cup. Another half cup. And there we go. That's 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. The next part of the recipe calls for adding some butter. So we're going to take our 2 sticks of butter, which is 1 cup, and we're going to go ahead and stick them in the microwave here for just a couple seconds. We're going to soften them. All right, they've been softened. Having a soft butter is a lot nicer for baking because you don't get hard, giant clumps in your mix. Let's take the butter, go ahead and put it in the pan. We're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. Oh, that smells so good. Take the 1/2 teaspoon. Right there. Add that into our mix. And we're going to crack our egg and add our egg. Next, we take our mixer and we're going to slowly blend this together. So what you want to do is you want to get it all nice in there. Start to break it up and then turn it on low. You don't want to start too high or otherwise your powdered sugar is going to start going flying. Now you can see it start to mix together. If it clumps up like this, just tap it out or let it run a little quicker and it'll empty out of the mixer. Gradually turn it up a little higher until it starts to form a cream. Next, we need to add our flour. Once again, since it calls for 2.5 cups of flour, we're just going to use our 1/2 cup and put 3 of them in the bowl. 2, 4, 5. Next, we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. You also want to make sure it's a level teaspoon. Now we're going to use the mixer to mix it all together. It'll start to get a little bit of like these little round balls. That's fine. Once this sits in the fridge, it'll all come together. The dough itself is going to wind up getting rolled out anyway. Now that this dough is done, we're going to cover it and chill it in our refrigerator. I've rolled the dough out and cut these sugar cookies into circles. And now we're going to put sanding sugar on them. gonna put on some festive Christmas colors. Now these are ready for the oven. Let's put these Christmas cookies in the oven. They bake at 375 for 7 to 8 minutes. We'll be right back when these are done. Let's pull these out of the oven. Here they are. Your classic Christmas sugar cookies. They smell so good. The next cookies you'll be baking are chocolate chip cookies. These are my absolute favorite cookie in the entire world, and I'm going to show you how to make it. First, we have to make our dry ingredients. Our dry ingredients consist of the flour and the baking soda and a few other things like salt. And that will all get mixed in our small bowl. The recipe calls for 2 1/4 cups of flour, 1/2 cup, 1 cup, 2 cups of flour, and we're going to add our 1/4 cup. Now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We're also going to add a teaspoon of salt. Just regular old iodized granulated salt, and it works pretty well. Level it off. 1 teaspoon. Now, we're going to take our butter, 2 sticks, we're going to soften it again, just like we did for the sugar cookies. Alright, we're going to take them out. Nice and squishy, not melted. That's what you're looking for. To the large mixing bowl. Next, we need to add our sugars. We are going to be using 3/4 cups of white sugar, and we are also going to be using 3/4 cups of brown sugar. Get 1/4 cup of the sugar, leveled off. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 cups of white sugar. We got 1/4 cup, 2/4 cups of brown sugar, 3/4 cups of brown sugar. I'm also using dark brown sugar. Now we need to add 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. I prefer the real vanilla extract versus the imitation vanilla. To me, I think it just tastes better. So now, we're going to go ahead and beat this mixture. Next, we need to add our eggs. So we're going to take our egg, crack our egg, add it in. Alright, let's add our next egg. Add it in. Just like that. Now that the eggs are added, we're going to want to add our flour mixture here gradually. Take a little bit, add it in, mix it in, add a little more, mix it in. finally, now it's time to add our chocolate chips. I have 2 different brands of chocolate chips here, but you can use whatever brand you'd like. We're going to take 1 cup of these chocolate chips here. These are semi-sweet morsels, by the way. We're going to take 1 cup of these right here. Doesn't matter if you put too much in. They're all going to be baking wonderfully. I always mix these by hand just because I find it a little easier. So let's mix them in. Now you really want to get these evenly distributed inside of the mixture. Now that they're all mixed together, let's go bake them. Now we're going to take the cookie dough and put it on the baking sheet to bake in our oven. We have a little, tiny little spoon that we're going to use. Take it, level it off. What I do is I will go 4 across and then I'll go 5 across on this pan. Now that we have this in the pan, we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven for around 9 to 11 minutes until it's done. This is also a non-stick baking sheet, so the cookies won't stick to the baking sheet at all. In you go! We'll see you when these are done. Now that our cookies are done, let's take them out of the oven. That smells so good. Look at these. Oh, they're wonderful. Perfectly done and everything. Our next cookies that we're going to be making are snickerdoodles. We're going to start out with our wet ingredients. We're going to add 1½ cups of sugar. Half cup. 1 cup. Next, we're going to add in 1 stick of softened butter. And we'll add a ½ cup of shortening. Right, that looks to be about a ½ cup of shortening. Next, we're going to add our eggs. 2 eggs. Next up, we have our dry ingredients. We're going to put 2 3/4 cups of flour in here. 1, 2, 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4 cups. Next, we need to put 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. Here, it's level. 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're going to add this gradually into our wet mixture here. This looks great. It's all ready. Next, we need to make our topping cinnamon mixture. We're going to start out with 1/4 cup of sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Oh, that smells so Christmassy. Go ahead and mix this around. It's time to put the cookies on the baking sheet. We're gonna start just like we did the other ones with the The next thing we have to do is we have to take our fork, dip it into the flour, and then we're going to make a crisscross pattern on every single one of these cookies. Now, we're going to take our sugar mixture and a spoon, and we're just going to carefully spoon it on to each one, not too much. And then we're going to put it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 8 minutes. I'll see you guys when this is done. Let's see how these turned out. Oh, look at that. They look amazing. Oh, they smell so good too. Christmas is probably one of my favorite holidays for making cookies. All the smells and everything, the cinnamon, oh, it smells so good. Let's make some press cookies. This is another family favorite cookie to make around Christmas time. The first thing we're going to do is add 2/3 cup of sugar to our wet ingredients bowl. All right, that's 2/3 cup of sugar. Now, we need to soften our 2 sticks of butter. We're going to go ahead and cream this. Next, we're going to add our egg. We're going to add 2½ cups of flour into this mixture. 1, 2. Need to add a little bit of salt. Now we need to add 1 teaspoon of almond extract. Now here comes the fun part. We're going to take this mixture here and we're going to divide it up into several bowls. Here, we're going to divide it easily. Now comes the fun part. We get to add food coloring to these bowls. I'm going to start with yellow. Just like everything, just dip it into this here. More red. Green. And blue. All that combined here. Now we're going to move on to pressing them and baking them. It's time to press some of these cookies out. So we've got red, green, blue, and yellow. What we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of each, just a small bit, and we're going to put that inside of the press. A little bit of red, a little bit of green, a little bit of blue, and a little bit of the yellow. And then we're going to pick our extruder. And that screws on there like that. Nice and easy. do is you just push it down and press it out until you see the cookie come on out. A little bit more. And there it is. There's our cookie. See how colorful they are? So I'm going to really quickly fill this up. And then we're going to go ahead and put it in the oven at 500 degrees. And I will see you guys back when these are done. They go in for 6 minutes. It's time to take these pressed cookies out. Wow, look at that. They smell great. They're beautiful, aren't they? Now we're going to make peanut butter cookies. We need 1/2 cup of sugar. And then we need 1/2 cup of the peanut butter. And we'll go ahead and get this peanut butter into our mix. Next we'll add 1/4 cup of butter. This butter has already been softened. And 1/4 cup of the shortening. Next we add the egg. Next we added 1 1/4 cups of flour. 1. Next we add 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda. 1, 2, 3/4 of a teaspoon, and we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now all we gotta do is bake it. Let's put these cookies on the baking sheet. Again, we're gonna do it in a 4x8 grid. It smells so good. We're going to take our fork again, put it in the flour, and make our little crisscross patterns on the top of the cookies. We're going to go ahead and put these in the oven at 375 degrees for about 8 to 10 minutes. Alright, I will see you guys when this is done. Let's see how these cookies turned out. Oh, wow. Oh, they smell great. Now we're going to make the coffee cake. So first we're going to mix up the topping for the coffee cake. The topping of the coffee cake has 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/3 cup of brown sugar, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now we're going to go ahead and mix all this together. And this will be our topping. First, we need to add 2 sticks of softened butter. And 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm going to add 2 eggs. We need to mix it all together. That looks about right. Now we need 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now we mix it all together. Now we put it in the baking pan, put our toppings on it, and bake our wonderful coffee cake. It's time to put together the coffee cake. While we were waiting, I also added 1 cup of sour cream and some vanilla to this mixture. Let's go ahead and put half of this mixture into this pan. Might get a little messy. That's okay. Spread it out. It's a 9-inch by 13-inch pan. Now that our coffee cake is laid out, we can add a bit of our topping, just as a center layer. That looks good. Now we add the rest of this on top of here. Don't worry, we're clear. Mine's not getting. Don't worry, we're clear. Mine's not getting a little bit on the side. It's okay, by the time anyway. Let's add the last of our topping. And we're ready to put it in the oven. Now we're going to put this in the oven for 40 to 45 minutes at 350 degrees. And it's going to turn out really good. We'll see you when this is done. Let's see how this coffee cake turned out. Here it is. Check out this wonderful coffee cake. We want to thank everyone for watching this video, and we hope you have a wonderful Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thanks for watching!